Hi, welcome to Rev Sport. This is Ishan, your host, along with Gagi, Bharat, and Shomik. Uh, the first session of play is just completed. It's been a mixed bag session, in my opinion. I think both teams will be relatively happy. New Zealand, in my opinion, might be on the upper hand. Loss of just two wickets here. Gagi, I guess started off with you. What did you make of that first session? Would you believe that New Zealand will be the better off team here in the first session?
I mean, I think it's still too early to say who has the lead. Like you said, it's been a mixed session. It has gone both ways at some point or the other. New Zealand scoring a lot of runs in the first half. The first partnership that was there between Tom Latham and Devon Conway. First 48 balls and 32 runs. I think that's a very good start there. With Will Young as well, the partnership that Devon Conway had. But also you have to look at the fact that there were two wickets in the very first session. So it's been a pretty balanced session so far. No one is dominating, no one is being dominated. But this is what we want to see, right? A fair match between bat and the ball. So I think it's going to be a fun match to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Shomik, what about you? How did you look at that first session here? What were some of the highlights and key takeaways?
The real highlight for me, Ishan, is that I didn't expect India to go on the defensive. When I'm playing seven batsmen, it means after the Bangalore defeat, we have gone on the defensive. I totally understand that the replacement. KL Rahul is being dropped, and once Shubman Gill is in, KL is dropped, and then Akashdeep for Mohammad Siraj. But uh, Washi for Kuldeep Yadav, that's to me is a defensive move because as much as you can project Washi as a as an all rounder, he is not. He is a very good batsman who, as a bowler, doesn't inspire confidence. All along since Virat Kohli's time, India have maintained that come what may, we will play five specialist bowlers. Here, they are not playing five specialist bowlers. And then New Zealand won a very good toss. They are, they are building slowly but steadily. They have lost just two wickets. Their man in form, Rachin Ravindra, is there. So given that I didn't expect, to me personally, it's a defensive move from India. Maybe that 46 all out played on the mind of the team management. But let's see what happens. First session, I will give it to 60-40, or rather 65-35 to New Zealand.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. Bharat, there's some questions here as well. We'll just take few questions. First of all, Varun is saying it's a shared session, all right. Only two wickets. Let's take this one. Only two wickets on the spinning track. New Zealand are ahead, it seems. What do you have to say to that, Bharat? And we'll take this one here. We'll take this one to answer. Defensive field way too early in the game.
Is it a spinning track? It looked like a good track for batting on day one. I don't think it's a spinning track in Test cricket. This is definitely not a turning track. They have left a smattering of grass as well, a very thin layer of grass to ensure that the pitch will hold together. At least on the first 3 days, I don't think there will be much assistance for spinners. So, on that basis, two wickets in this session, I don't think it's a bad session for the Indian team. But the good point for New Zealand is they won the toss. Once you win the toss in these kind of conditions, first 3 days, I don't think it will do much for spinners. Only on day four or something like that, it will start to assist the spinners. So New Zealand have the upper hand because they won the toss. Ideally, they would have liked to have lost only one wicket. They lost, I think, one more wicket than expected that Will Yang won. And I also agree that India kind of have gone defensive. I don't think they needed to pick Washington Sundar in this lineup, but that is what they have done. Hopefully, from India's point of view, he would come good. But as far as field placements are concerned, see, again, I repeat the same. I don't think there is much in it for spinners. It's going to be hard work. I guess we have seen quite a bit of dust balls, raging turners to expect wickets to go, 5, 6 wickets to go in one session. It won't go in these conditions. For first 3 days at least,
Hmm.
it's going to be good pitch for batting. And yeah, New Zealand obviously have the upper end because they won the toss.
Yeah. I think that toss was a decisive factor here. Gagi, what did you think of Ashwin's bowling? 2 wickets, important 2 wickets. If he didn't get those 2 wickets, then New Zealand could have well and truly been wicketless at the moment, and they would have been ahead of the game. Ashwin coming good in this Test match until now. I think it's again too early to say, but at least those 2 wickets will give him a lot of confidence.
Oh no, I think to break that momentum that New Zealand was really gaining in the first session, those 2 wickets from Ravichandran Ashwin were very crucial. And if we didn't have that, I think New Zealand would have been over 100 runs right now. And to think that there were talks of dropping Ashwin before this Test match, when he comes back and makes these performances, then only you realize how important Ashwin really is to the Indian Test team. And look at his numbers today. 12 overs, 2.75 economy with 2 wickets. It just speaks for itself. I think on a track like this, like Bharat said, that before, from everything we heard from Shubhai and the way that he said everything, explained that it was being specially curated and
Hmm.
very specific things were being done. It didn't turn out like we expected. You thought it would be a rank turner, but it did not. But still,
Yes.
New Zealand picked up the pace today, and Ashwin played a very crucial part.
Surely, Shamia, this is the reason why you can't leave Ashwin out of your side. He might have a bad test match here and there, but with the bat, with the ball, he's always someone who will be more consistent to perform for you on a regular basis compared to the times where he might not perform. So talk about Ashwin here. And there's also a comment about Kuldeep Yadav. A sports fan is saying, has Kuldeep been treated unfairly by the team management? So your thoughts on that?
To start with, Ashwin, I mean, there was never any question of dropping Ashwin. I mean, especially in India. In India, he is your biggest match winner. He can have a bad game that happens to everybody, but I mean, first, see, in Bangalore, the spinners didn't get any purchase, and every spinners went for runs. It was a bit unusual for Ashwin to concede more than 5 runs per over, which he doesn't do. But then again, you can everybody is allowed to have a bad game, and there was never any question of dropping him. As far as Kuldeep is concerned, I won't say the word unfairly, but I would have liked to see him in the squad because he is a genuine wicket taker. He is a
Hmm.
genuine wicket taker in the sense, and when I mean when you are playing Washi is basically he can hold one end up. He can be used for containment. He is not a wicket taker. Basically, he's a he's a part-time offie. He is not a specialist top spinner at all. So from that point of view, India need to win this test. This is a must-win game for India. So from that point of view, I would have expected them to go with Kuldeep. But yes, Kuldeep might feel aggrieved. He has every reason to feel aggrieved, given that in Bangladesh also, uh, when India played three fast bowlers, he was dropped from the 11. But
Yeah.
then that's the nature of the beast. I mean, you cannot drop Ashwin and Jadeja. So Kuldeep is your third spinner. So the chop, uh, I mean, he faces the chop. The, all said and done, once again, I will go back to this point. I didn't expect India to be defensive, this
Hmm.
defensive in this game.
You're right. I think that defensive approach might be costing them a bit at the moment. Bharat, I want to ask you. So Devin Conway is batting fairly well, 47 not out. Rachin Ravindra has shown that he's in good form. Do you think these two pose a threat? How important is breaking that partnership right after this session?
Yeah, Rachin Ravindra obviously is a very good player of spin. He has been coming out to India for the last decade or so. He's been practicing in the Anandpur against spin bowling even during under 19 days. So he's someone who is acclimatized to the conditions in India. He knows what works when it comes to spin bowling. And on a goal track in the second innings, he went on to play that brilliant knock in Sri Lanka when the ball was turning big. So obviously he's a huge threat. He's in form. Conway somehow he wasn't in form. Scored a 50 or something on those lines in Sri Lanka, and suddenly against India, he's come back to form. So yeah, could be a threat. Although Ashwin is left-hander, Sundar also. if we consider him as an off spinner, I know
Mhm.
he's not that good an off spinner, but we consider him as an off spinner, his left-handers, then those two could come into play. But Rachin Ravindra obviously is a huge threat. And again, I add the point that these are good conditions for batting. There's a thin layer of grass. When a curator leaves a very thin layer of grass, it's a foregone conclusion that he wants to hold the pitch together for at least the first 3 days. So in these conditions, it's going to be hard work for Indian spinners. It's just about maintaining good line,
Yeah.
because there is much side spin of the track, and hoping that the batter will make a mistake
I think
somewhere.
this one as well, Bharat. Abhinav was saying spinners need to slow down their speeds. There is enough grip on the pitch. Anything you want to tell him?
I don't think there's much in it for spinners, but I agree, yeah, that you can slow down the pace a little bit, because there isn't much happening for spinners. When there isn't much happening in it for spinners, then you can look to experiment. But I don't agree that there is any real grip in these conditions for spinners. On day one is a good pitch for batting. Let again, at least for the first 3 days, expect the track to play well and batters to score some runs.
Yeah. And before I come to Gagi, Shamita will take this question. It's addressed to you. Shamita, too many easy singles were given. Now, this is the problem that we've noticed a lot of times where, not just in the men's cricket, but even in the women's cricket, we feel that other teams have managed running harder between the wickets, which has costed the home team or the team which is expected to do the same thing. So, too many easy singles been given. Is this an issue that you noticed in the first session? You're mute, Shamita.
See, once again, as because India lost the toss, they don't want to face a big total. So once again, it is reflective of their a little bit of defensive mindset. I don't know why India always play their cricket on the front foot. I don't know why it is reflective of their. I mean, uh, as of now, it is reflective of their defensive mindset. As far as this game is concerned, as far as first day's play is concerned, I think Bumrah's next spell is going to be very, very important. If Bumrah can make inroads, then India will come roaring back into it. If the New Zealand batsmen handle Bumrah
Yeah.
well, they will gain a significant upper hand on day one.
Yes. Gagi, before we end the show, we'll just take some predictions from all of you. So, what are your predictions for this lunch session? What's going to happen? Do you think Devon Conway might get that 100? He missed out in the first test and he's looking good at the moment. So, is there a possibility of that?
He's not even reached 50 yet. So can India get him out before 50? Let's see if that happens. But that will be fun to watch. Sad for Devon Conway, but not for us, because one less problem to think about. But my prediction for this session would be uh, New Zealand go past 130, and that's it. Yeah, New Zealand go past 130, and maybe one more wicket.
130 and one
And
more wicket.
Ishan,
Okay, sure.
and
Yeah.
Ishan, I'm a big fan of Devon Conway's batting. So I would like him to go and score 100.
All right. But what are your predictions, Shamita? And we'll answer this question as well. Should India start the second session with Bumrah and Ashwin?
Of course, yes. Yes, absolutely. Bumrah and Ashwin, they should start, number one. Number two, as far as the session's prediction is concerned, it will depend on how India handle this Conway and Rachin Ravindra partnership. If India manage to break that partnership early, India will get another 2-3 wickets. But they, if this partnership gets into the group, then it's going to be a long day for India.
It's going to be a long day. The partnership is absolutely right. Bharat, your final thoughts?
Yeah, Jasprit Bumrah, he might be a good bowler with a new ball in Indian conditions, but with the old ball is a beast level bowler. You can look at stats as well. That with a old ball in hand, because if you look at his grip, it's very straight seam grip. So when he gets that contrast swing, it's very difficult for a batter to make out which way it is going unless they're really watching the ball really well. He can also get reverse swing or contrast swing in one single spell. So with the old ball is a beast level bowler. So I guess it will depend on how Jasprit Bumrah bowls in these conditions. He will obviously go round the wicket to Conway with the world ball, look to get him out LBW. So that could come in the equation and Conway to get out LBW from
Hmm.
India's point of view. So if Bumrah gets it right, I think 3-4 wickets can go, but it depends, I guess, on him only because with the world ball is a different kind of bowler.
Interesting, interesting. So a lot to look forward to in the second session. Thank you all for joining, and we'll catch you all for the post-match show. Thank you, Hagi. Thank you, Shami. Thank you, Bharat. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you all for the post-match show. Thank you.